Let's see if this works this time. Okay, this one's better. Okay, all right. Hi. So this is me trying to experiment with new technology, but not being good at it. I set up a schedule to go live at approximately 6:30 p.m. And then every time I tried to activate it, it was like, no, I'm just going to sit here and stream for no reason. It's fine. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi. I have actual alcohol in my glass this week. It's not cooking sherry. This is actual bourbon acquired at a liquor store. So this live is already an improvement upon the last one. I also think I only have a little bit of makeup on my contact this time. So yay. See, we're improving. Every time, every stream is an improvement on the last one. How are y'all? How is week? What is this? Is this technically week 4? Or are we technically in week 3? Some of us could be in week 4. Some of us could be in week 3 of quarantine. I don't know. I just know that I can only look at so much internet every day. And yet I still manage to find more. How is that even possible? Hi, Janaria. Hi, Sheree. Hi, Ned. Hi, Erica. Hi, me. I feel like that GIF, that video that people put on the internet of like that guy playing music on his balcony, just like 3 people at the bottom cheering him on. I appreciate you all for being my people outside my balcony, cheering me on. I love you guys so much. Me too. I really do. Has anyone else noticed that they're super light sensitive now that they haven't been outside on a regular basis? I've realized that I can't go outside without sunglasses on now because the light, the UV rays, they hurt my eyes. It could also be because I'm an esthetician who's used to working in the dark, not the dark, the semi-dark and semi-lit rooms. It could also be old age. That could be it too. Anything is possible at this point. Anything is possible at this point. Isn't it a shame that the weather has changed and broken, but we still can't really go out and enjoy it? You do sit so much. I get a fair amount of sun, but at this point in time, I just can't. I went out and walked around yesterday, day before, maybe day before that. I don't know. What are days anymore? And I had my regular glasses on because I barely wear my contacts anymore. Or I haven't since the great quarantining. And just being in that sunlight for like 5 minutes kind of gave me half a headache, and then my eyes were like weird. So I think I have to wear sunglasses now. Oh my God. I have to wear sunglasses, you guys. I have to look cool all the time now. So terrible. You do need fresh air. You do need fresh air. You do. It's very, very true that we could all turn into mole people at this point. And it's not like I have a lot of, protection melanin-wise. I cover myself in SPF before I walk out, because I'm sure if I were to go out right now, or not right now, but like tomorrow afternoon at the height of the sunniest part of the day, that I would be so red within like 15 minutes, because I don't know what sun exposure is anymore. It does suck, Janaria. It does suck. Shout out and peace to those of you who are inside with children, because yeah, it's a lot. They require everything all the time. Your refrigerator is constantly open. They constantly want a snack. You have to help them with all of their work, not just their homework. There's noise. There's always noise. So much noise. Okay, I'm gonna run real quick behind me and go get some products that I was gonna talk about, because I'm unprepared. Hello. This is a dress from our friends at ASOS. I'm not wearing it to be cute. I'm wearing it because I don't think I'm currently have any pants that I can button at the moment. Because buttons are oppressive. Zippers were made by the man to keep us down. Zippers are zippers are a tool of the patriarchy, keep women in their place. Buttons are offensive. Buttons are a tool of the man to also keep us oppressed. Buttons are right up there. Having to wear pants with buttons is not quite at the level of gutting the Voting Rights Act, but it's certainly like right around there with automatic soap and paper towel dispensers that don't recognize Black people's hands when they try to use them. It's somewhere around there. Slightly more oppressive than that, but not quite Voting Rights Act offensive. But they're pretty close. What are you all having for dinner? I think we're having chicken wings or pizza, and I ordered chicken wings because I can't necessarily eat pizza anymore because it's not good for my belly. Are you all sick of cooking yet? Are you sick of doing dishes? Are you sick of having to cook your own food and wash your own dishes? I can tell you that much. I can certainly tell you that much. All right, so we're about 10 minutes in, so let's talk about what I've got here to talk about. Tuna or cod. You're good for cooking fish at a time when you can't get out of the house, because it can fill your house with a very distinctive aroma. I was just a fried chicken the other day, and I was really concerned. So what's that? I was very concerned that the whole house was gonna smell like fried chicken for a day, but it didn't. I was very happy about it. All right, I brought you here. Why are we here? We're here to just talk some shit about skincare and face stuff. And all of you here are people who know me, but those of you who don't, Russian potato salad. Russian potato. You know what? I bet it's good. I bet it's good. I enjoy Russian. I enjoy most Russian anything food wise. I like borscht. I like. I'm into kasha as a nice base. I also enjoy mushroom gravy. I like beef stroganoff. Pierogies are not necessarily Russian, but I think they're kind of Polish, but they're distinctively Eastern European. Hi, Sinead. How are you? Face stuff. Let's talk about it. So, folks who know me know that I've talked, not necessarily at length, but I have mentioned in the past my enjoyment of double cleansing. Yes, Veselka. I love Veselka. I miss Veselka. I can't wait to go back outside and drink outside. Anyway, we have talked at length about, I've spoken before about double cleansing. You've probably heard of it as a concept on the internet or with your friends that like to do stuff to their face, like me. What is double cleansing? So double cleansing is the act of using two different phases or two different types of cleanser to thoroughly cleanse your face. It does more than just kind of remove whatever's going on the surface. Double cleansing helps to cleanse your skin a little bit more thoroughly. It's about using sort of like I'm going to call it biphase for lack of a better term that I can't necessarily think of. It's sort of biphase cleansing. So using both an oil and water-based or oil and water-soluble cleansers to cleanse your skin. What is the science behind it? So using an oil-based cleanser to cleanse your face before using a more traditional water-based cleanser helps to ensure that every time you cleanse your face, that you are thoroughly removing both oil-based and water-based dirt, debris, and impurities from your skin. Now there's whiskey and boobs. Not the first time, won't be the last. Oil cleansing. Doing that step first helps to remove oil-based debris from the oil of your skin, from the surface of your skin. What is oil-based debris? Makeup is oil-based. Sunscreen is oil-based. If you tend to be a very oily skin type like myself and others, any excessive sebum and oil on the skin, that's oil-based. Using an oil-based cleanser helps to lift that oil-based debris from the skin. Then once you remove that or rinse your face, then you can go in with your water-based cleanser that is going to help to dissolve any additional water-based debris, but also actually go into your pores and more thoroughly cleanse your skin. Now, remember in my last video, we talked about how pores and follicles are essentially the same opening, right? So the same opening that your hair grows out of is also the same opening that your pore is. So that whole thing is all the same. I don't want to say orifice because orifice sounds dirty. It's not. It's a scientific term, but when I say it, it feels dirty. So anyway, I said it already twice. It's the same opening. So if you use an oil-based cleanser, that sort of like removes everything that's kind of the sludge and dirt that's sitting at the very top of your skin. Then once you go back through again with your water-based cleanser or your more traditional cleanser, that cleanser is actually going to go into the pores, cleanse the pores, cleanse more deeply into your skin to make sure that your skin is more thoroughly cleansed. Why is this important? It's important because I probably mentioned this in my previous video. Most are not washing their face enough. Most people are not washing their face correctly. We talked before about the 1 minute rule that's become really popular, and everyone knows about it now. That we should all be washing our face for 1 minute, which is at least 1 minute, which is 100% true. But essentially, we should all be double cleansing if at all possible as well, so that we're really, really deeply cleansing our skin. This is especially true if you're someone who tends to wear a lot of makeup. Not even a lot of makeup, if you're somebody who likes to wear makeup. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook know that it was a tiny rant, it was a baby rant. I have a thing about people who think that women who wear makeup are deceptive. I get shit stuck in my craw about it. Anyway, neither here nor there. If you're someone who happens to wear makeup on a regular basis, you want to make sure that when you're cleansing your skin at night, that you are removing as much of that makeup as possible. So later on this evening, when I take off this very gentle beat, I did less this week because the last time I did it, I did a lot, and I had a lot of eyeshadow on my contact lenses. So I was trying not to do so. It's important for me to break all of this makeup down. Let's take a slight detour and talk about a little bit of skincare science and chemistry. So like attracts like. It's a very popular concept in skincare. So molecules that are similar in makeup tend to attract one another. So oil molecules dig other oil molecules, so they all come together and have a party. Water molecules like other water molecules. For example, the water in my seltzer and in my bourbon came together to make this champagne light brown colored concoction that I'm still drinking despite the fact that all the ice is gone. So similar molecules like each other. Most makeup tends to be, especially foundation, most makeup, most sunscreen, all of those tend to be large, oily molecules. And using an oil-based cleanser will help to kind of lift those oil molecules from the skin and attract each other. So the oil molecules in your oil-based cleanser are going to become attracted to the oil molecules in your makeup and lift that from the skin. Once those oil molecules get married and come together and have a party, you can use a tad bit of water after that to create what's called an emulsion. Adding water to oil, you know that you shake up balsam and vinaigrette together, right? It becomes an emulsion, and now you can pour it on as your salad dressing. Over time, those water and oil molecules are going to separate, but when you put them all together for a hot second, it becomes really frothy emulsion. So you would apply your oil cleanser, work it, massage it into your skin really well. You really want to make sure you're lifting up all of that oil, and then just with some damp hands, take the water and then begin to massage. And you'll notice with any oil cleanser, even just if it's a basic grapeseed, almond oil, whatever it is, you take a little bit of oil and take a little bit of water and add that to that oily mixture on your face. You're going to notice a bit of like a frothy, almost lather. It's not really quite a lather, but you're going to notice like a frothy emulsion forming on your face. That emulsion is really lifting that oil from the skin so that it can be thoroughly removed, either through rinsing. If you have an oil cleanser that's water soluble, you can just rinse it away, or by using a microfiber towel, using a soft cloth, or using cotton pads, or not necessarily cotton balls. Cotton balls don't have a lot of surface area, but using like a large, cotton or microfiber pad to remove your makeup. those makeup removing towels that you're supposed to just be able to rinse, rinse every time you use. Those are great to use. Don't use them by yourself because they don't work hard enough. But using them to remove any sort of products, like an oil cleanser, is really good. Now, once you've done that step, once you've removed that layer of oil-based gook and grime from your skin, then you can go in with your more traditional cleanser, and that traditional cleanser is going to do more of the job that you bought it for. So post oil cleansing, or as your second cleansing step, those acids, those enzymes, those ingredients, whatever you bought that cleanser to do, it's actually going to get into your skin and do it. It's not going to necessarily do the job if you're trying to use it as a cleansing step before you remove your makeup, or before you remove skin sunscreen, tinted moisturizer, whatever it is you've used during the day. Or again, if you're super oily and you've got kind of like a layer of oil on your skin from the day, your regular cleanser isn't necessarily going to do the job quite as well if it has to fight that layer of oil to get through it. So using an oil cleanser, removing your makeup, removing the day, removing that grime, that sebum, helps clear the way so that your cleanser can do the job you bought it for. Now, I am a proponent of cleansers that are that may have some sort of alpha or beta hydroxy in them. I'm all about it. I love chemical exfoliation. I prefer it over physical exfoliation, depending upon the skin kind. Put a pin in it. We're coming back to it. But for the daytime, I tend to for your morning cleansing step, I always tend to recommend something very simple, very gentle. And then your evening cleanser should be the cleanser that does all the job, that does all the heavy lifting. So your salicylic acid cleansers, your resurfacing cleansers, your glycolic or anti-aging cleansers, let those do their job at night. And then in the morning, you can use something really simple, really gentle. So to recap very briefly, double cleansing is the concept of using an oil-based cleanser to remove any oil-based debris like makeup, sebum, sunscreen, tinted moisturizer. Using that helps to clear the way for your traditional cleanser to do more of the job that you paid it to do. You may be asking yourself now, but Nandi, what kind of oil cleanser do you use? I don't know. Maybe you're asking yourself that question, or maybe you're just like, hey, what the fuck are you talking about? Glad you asked. So I have two favorite oil cleansers that I happen to have with me here today. And I'll talk about what their texture is, what they're like, and also why I use them. And I will also give you suggestions about what are some other products on the market that are very similar to these products, so that if you don't necessarily find the exact product I'm using, you'll know what to look for, right? So the two oil cleansers I'm going to show you are, honestly, they're good for any skin type, but I would recommend one for dry skin more so over the other for more oily combination skin. Both of them work great with either skin type, but I'm just telling you this. If I think of someone who is dry, anti-aging, I'm going to recommend one. Think of somebody who is more combination to oily, I'm going to have them think of another. 2 seconds. I have people asking me, are you asking to join and take a look at the live stream? So I'm just giving them a moment. Listen to the smooth stylings of this uncopyrighted music on YouTube. Hello. P.S. Let's talk about the beauty of YouTube while we're here. Just gonna take a brief detour. YouTube has the cutest little varying channels have these cute little like mixes that are like nondescript, chill, lo-fi hip hop or electronic or solfeggio-like beats, so that you can listen to it to study, to clean the house, if you want some background noise while you're doing a YouTube live stream. They're right here, and I'm sure they're copyright free. This is why I choose to put them on here, because I don't want to be that girl that does and gets dinged by Al Green's people, because Al Green was playing at one point and my sister was like, but everybody likes Al Green. I'm like, well, this is copyrighted music. And then she just shouted that we do not own the rights to this music, which I don't know if that necessarily ever counts. It's okay. Oil cleansers. So my first oil cleanser, that is one of my personal favorites, is from the brand Elemis. Woo, Elemis, tell me more. Most of you who know who I work for know that I use a lot of Elemis in my life. I use it professionally and I use it personally. I should have asked how this lamp turns on. Oh, it's over here. Hi, stand by. Ugh. That was the sound of an old lady bending over. Oh, there, that's nice. Most of you who know who I work for know that I use Elemis a lot in my real life, and I use it a lot in my professional life. Elemis is a British-based brand. They've always been a plant-based, vegetable-based brand. They've been very green, very clean, way before it was super cool to have clean beauty. One of their most popular products is their Pro Collagen Marine Cream, which uses a special algae called Padina pavonica. They discovered it. They have a whole story about it on their website. They discovered through accidents, like most great skincare and science based products are, they discovered this particular algae is fantastic at maintaining hydration levels, maintaining collagen production in the skin. So the Pro Collagen Marine Cream is one of their, if not their hero product, one of their hero products. The Elemis Pro Collagen line is pretty extensive. They have a regular day cream. They have an SPF 30 cream. They have their night cream. They have an oxygenating night cream. They have a Pro Collagen Overnight Matrix. They have a whole line of things. They also have in their Pro Collagen line 2 cleansing balms. They love a cleansing balm, and they are a big fan of the double cleanse. Their OG Pro Collagen cleansing balm is gold in color. It smells amazing. There's cranberry oil, some citrus oil, some lavender, so you know I can't use it. But it's a very rich, creamy, balmy oil. It's while it's very rich, it's also very light at the same time. Like it's sumptuous and luxurious in aroma. But once you melt it and apply it to your skin and start massaging it around, it really melts really beautiful, really beautifully. It does a great job of getting rid of makeup. It does a great job of getting rid of waterproof makeup in particular. And if I wasn't allergic to it, I'd probably use it. But since I am, I use their Pro Collagen Rose Cleansing Balm. It is a super cleansing treatment balm. Because of the rose in it, it is kind of more, not necessarily marketed to, but geared toward the dry, the sensitive, the dehydrated, it's more of an anti-aging based skin balm or cleansing balm. It is good if you love the smell of rose, then you'll love the smell of this. Like, it smells rosy, but not in that really fake, terrible old lady way that rose can smell sometimes. This is, it's very rich smelling, and that it smells like it costs a lot of money. And I mean, depending on what your idea of costing a lot of money is, it is a bit higher in price point. The rose version, this and also the OG Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm, both of them are about $64, I think. For $64, you do get 3.7 ounces or 105 grams of product. I'm going to show you here. As you can see, we hit the bottom on this one. I use it very sparingly because we live in uncertain times and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get this again. Also, you don't really need a whole lot to get by. So I think I bought this in January, and this is where we are now as far as where we get it. And I do use this twice a day, every day. The Pro Collagen Rose Balm and the regular Pro Collagen Balm both have this really beautiful gold color to them. And they're both very kind of rich in texture. But I will say the Rose Balm is a bit thicker. It is a bit richer. That is why I tend to recommend this more for drier skin types, more mature or more dehydrated skin types. It is a really rich but not super terrible sort of balmy consistency. Oh, look, I have lip liner on the back of my hand. Now I can show you how this works. So you would just kind of apply just a tad bit, that's a little bit does really go a long way. Massage it into the skin. And in a perfect world, I would remove this, but I didn't. Come, stand by. If you were going to do a demonstration, maybe you should have up there. Maybe I should. Hi, I'm back. So as you can see, the lip balm or the lip liner is completely gone. And all I do is wipe this bad boy away and voila, it's gone. Simple as that. It is, God, it smells amazing. That's probably why I'm more inclined to use it twice a day, every day, because I really enjoy the smell. Like I said, it's $64. Sometimes our friends at Elemis will have a bit of a sale on it. But it's really good. I really love it. I could sit here and smell it all day, every day. And I never really thought I liked rose like that until I started smelling this. They also have a hydrating toner mist in the rose section of the Pro Collagen line. That's really, it smells really good too. It has the same scent. But this, because it's a little bit thicker, it is better at dissolving heavy duty makeup. So if you, like me, like a full coverage foundation, you like waterproof eyeliner, you like maybe waterproof mascara. I'm not big on waterproof mascara. We'll talk about that later. It is, because it's a little bit thicker and a little bit more substantial, it will dissolve heavier makeup a little bit more thoroughly than another type of oil cleanser or a lighter weight oil cleanser. If you like to wear brow pomades instead of just pencils, if you like really heavy duty, if you wear matte lipstick or liquid lipsticks that are really difficult to remove, this is going to be really good at breaking all of that down and removing it. It is water soluble, so it will just rinse away completely. You don't necessarily have to wipe it off, but you absolutely can. It is a very beautiful spa-like experience if you choose to, massage this into your skin for about a minute to 90 seconds. Really break down your makeup and then remove it with a hot cloth or a warm cloth. It does kind of feel a little bit more luxurious and like you're getting a facial with an expert esthetician like myself. Again, elemis.com is the website. Again, $64 for this one. The next one is, if you know me for a long time, you know that I love this particular brand. The next one is from Boscia. It's their Makeup Breakup Cool Cleansing Oil. This is more of a traditional oil, more lightweight. Still good for any skin type. So if you tend to not like balms and you want to do more of a traditional oil, you can. I will, full disclosure, this is probably the very first oil cleanser I ever used regularly. And that's because it's got stuff that I'm not allergic to. It's also water soluble. So just like the Elemis cleansing balm, after you've used it to massage your face, done the emulsion thing, you can just rinse it right off and then immediately go back into your next cleansing step. You can, again, still do the whole wipe off thing with a warm cloth. It's totally up to you what makes you feel good in your own bathroom. This is a little bit lighter weight. This is the travel size version. I do not have an ingredients list here. This is 1.7 ounces. I think the original bottle is somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.7 to 4 ounces. And it retails, the normal size is either $32 or $34. You can go to boscia.com for more information on this. This is more budget friendly. And it does work just as well as the Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm. It's just lighter weight. It has a very kind of fresh scent. Yeah, it's a little fresher, but where this is more rose botanical forward, the Boscia Makeup Breakup Cleansing Oil does have a sort of after effect or that underlying this is an oil smell to it. It doesn't have anything. Boscia is one of those clean brands too. One of the early adopters in the clean beauty space. So it doesn't have any parabens or sulfates or anything in this particular oil. I will say when it comes to heavy makeup breakdown, the Elemis cleansing balm does do a better job at breaking down really ornate, extravagant makeup, while the Boscia, you do have to work a little bit harder at it. A test for me and how in my use of both of them, I use Fenty's Fly Liner whenever I do a winged eye, which I have not done today. But whenever I do a winged eye, I do use Fenty's Fly Liner. And I will say that the Elemis cleansing balm does a better job of breaking that down and making sure it's completely removed versus the Boscia. I don't always necessarily have to go back through with a micellar water to remove the fly liner when I use the Elemis, but I kind of do need to do that when I use the Boscia. But because the Boscia is very travel friendly, this usually comes with me whenever I go places. Even though this is only 1.7 ounces, it's packaging wise, it's a little bit more clunky, right? This looks pretty. This looks so pretty in like your in your bathroom, in your vanity. You know, if you're a beauty influencer, if it's just like sitting behind you on a shelf, just looking gorgeous. It's also my favorite color. But the Boscia is a little bit more practical if you tend to be travel friendly, or if you're looking for something more travel friendly. But you're not right now, are you? Because we can't go anywhere. Now, when you're talking about things that are comparable to these two, what if I can't get Elemis because it's $64? I know, right? What if I can do the Boscia? What if I'm not close to a Sephora? No worries. Burt's Bees is probably the closest drugstore dupe to the Boscia Makeup Breakup Cool Cleansing Oil. They do have a cleansing oil. It is water soluble, if memory serves. It uses sweet almond oil and very lightweight oils. Check the ingredients list if you tend to be sensitive to certain oils, just to see if there's anything in there that you may be sensitive to. There is no lavender in there, I can tell you that, because I check everything for lavender. But that's a really good drugstore version of the Boscia Makeup Breakup Cool Cleansing Oil. Somebody could tell me this in the later on, probably. I think Neutrogena might have a cleansing oil now. I could be wrong. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but they have one. Dermalogica. Let's take a look at a brief detour to Dermalogica. Dermalogica is probably one of the first companies to, or brands rather, to tout the benefits of double cleansing and oil cleansing. They have a pre-cleanse oil that is probably one of their hero products. If it's not their if it's not their best-selling product, their microfoliant is. Put a pin in it. We'll come back to that later. Dermalogica does have two different versions of their pre-cleanse oil that kind of mirror this. They have their traditional pre-cleanse oil, which is very similar in consistency to the Boscia. It's about the same price point. I think it's $32. But they also have a balm version. It smells better. It's more luxurious. You only need about an almond-ish size amount of the balm to get the job done. It has a different composition of essential oils in there. I don't want to say essential oils, but it has a different oil composition in there, so it's a little bit more dry skin friendly, much like the Elemis is. But it's also a little bit more luxurious smelling, and it's also better at breaking down heavier makeup, similar to the Elemis. So again, the Elemis is like a $64 price point. The Dermalogica pre-cleanse balm is again in the $32 to $34 price point. So it's a little bit more manageable. Now, let's talk about price points for a hot second, just briefly. When you're talking about using something that's a little bit more on the pricey side, usually it's been in my experience and there's some exceptions to this rule, as there are to any, with these more luxurious balms, a little bit goes a longer way than more traditional oil cleansers. So while this Elemis Pro Collagen Rose Cleansing Balm does cost $64, I'm barely using, again, about an almond size amount of the balm to get this job done. Now, again, I've used this, I bought this in early January, maybe mid-January, probably mid-January. I think I got this after I went on my vacation for my 40th birthday, right? Here we are in the beginning of April, and look, I just hit the bottom of this maybe 10 days to 2 weeks ago, and I still have so much more to go because this is mine, so I can stick my finger in it. I really only ever use, that's even too much, about that much. And even that's probably a little bit too much. I probably might use this tonight because I have on makeup, but this is about all that I use. So you're talking about something that you use that could potentially last you, 3.5 to 4 months. So 4 months divided by 12, 3 times a year. So that's, $64 3 times a year. For me, for someone who enjoys luxury, that's not a huge, it's an investment versus like an expense. For me, if I can only buy something 3 times a year and and use it regularly, then that's fine for me. But if you are more concerned about budgetary reasons, absolutely go for something like the Boscia or the Dermalogica Pre-Cleanse Oil or the Dermalogica Pre-Cleanse Balm, because it is a little bit of a less of a price point. Always, if you're ever, again, when we're able to be outside and interact in public again, never be scared to get samples of things and try them out to see if you like them. Especially if it's a product that comes highly recommended but has a higher price point, because you don't want to spend $64 on something and it not ends up working how you want it to. If you find a cleansing balm that you think looks good, it's right in your budget, and you have questions about it, please shoot me an email, and I will help determine if it's something worth trying. Thank you, Tanisha Mayo. Pre-cleanse is $45. Somebody didn't do their research beforehand. It's still not terrible. I really thought it was 32. Okay, 45 is. Is it for the big one? Because I know they have varying sizes. It doesn't matter. Pre-cleanse is $45. So a dermatological pre-cleanse is $45. The Boscia is, again, a $32, $34 range. And Burt's Bees is, I think, somewhere between $9 and $10. And that might even be a little bit high, depending on where you are. In New York, everything is expensive. So these are my top two. These are what I use every day on my own particular face. My email address, Cherie, for professional purposes, is nandi at blushandbourbon.com. You can also go to blushandbourbon.com, BLUSCH, the letter N, BOURBON.com, and hit contact, and that will send you directly to me. Let's all have a drink. Let's take a drink. So we talked about double cleansing. Talked about how beneficial it is. It's good for all skin types. If you want to introduce yourself to it and see how you like it, see how your skin reacts to it, I would say start doing it at night. Even if you're not someone who tends to wear makeup, if you're somebody who's very diligent about wearing their sunscreen or their SPF, you want to break all that stuff down as much as you possibly can before you go to bed. So using a pre-cleanse oil ahead of, as part of your nighttime routine, it really will make a difference. I used to be lazier and only do my pre-cleanse or only do my oil cleansing whenever I was wearing makeup. And it was fine because for me, it was all about making sure I got rid of as much makeup as possible. But then a while ago, I started making a turn into doing pre-cleansing or doing a double cleanse whenever I'm washing my face, not only when I'm wearing makeup or not only when I've been really far and out and about. And I gotta say, even for my skin that, I have very few complaints about at the moment, I did notice a difference. I felt the difference before I saw it. I felt that my skin was smoother. I felt that my skin was softer. I felt that it was more cleansed. It looked fresher. Whenever I would go through with my micellar water or whatever after I've washed my face, there'd be way less makeup or whatever for me to remove. I mean, because hairline, right? Because you can't always scrub your hairline like you want to. Lots of us have different hair situations, so you can't always get in your hairline like you want to. But using a micellar water afterwards, we're kind of like, oh, look, there's the makeup I missed. But I just noticed that my skin looked a little bit clearer. I did notice that even my texture improved. And there's somebody out there who can explain more scientifically why that was. I mean, it's probably because my blackheads improved texturally. Don't quote me on that. But I did notice for me myself that my skin texture improved once I was doing oil cleansing. Also keep in mind that there is a chance as you begin to oil cleanse and do the double cleanse process, you may notice just a tiny bit of purging in the very, very, very beginning. If you do notice that, stick with it. Sometimes it's just oil and debris and stuff, just kind of like your skin just kind of trying to find its own special balance. Stick with it. Stick with it past that point, and I think you'll be pleased with the results afterward. Is it an extra step? Yes. If you're a busy person who already has a lot to do, I think the extra minute to 90 seconds is worth it, because are you ever so busy that you can't take care of yourself? We're all stuck in the house. We don't have to build in time for commutes anymore. Now is the time to develop some habits that are a little bit more beneficial and a little bit better and take some extra time to take care of yourself. That extra time you take could also be you oil cleansing and just taking the extra step every morning, every evening, taking an extra 90 seconds to take care of yourself. Um, even me, someone who doesn't have any kids, but had a busy type of life. I am trying to gather from this period of time that we're all not doing anything, that we're all stuck in the house, taking the moments to like taking this as a moment as a period of time to decompress, but also dedicating extra time to taking care of myself. And part of that is really recommitting for me to really, really doing my skincare routine regularly and doing it justice. Because, and other estheticians will tell you this too, while we encourage you, our clients, our friends, our beloveds, to take the extra time to take care of yourself and to do the things you need to do to make your skin better, we are not always so great at doing it for ourselves. And that's a wider commentary on people who tend to be caregivers, that we don't take care of ourselves, but just we take care of others. So I've taken this time to, hey, practice what you're preaching to the people that pay you. Do your double cleanse morning and evening. Do your exfoliation routine regularly. Wear your masks, do your peels, do your things. You don't have anything else to do. You might as well be taking care of your face. Speaking of exfoliation, stay right there. All right, it's dusky, so I think it's getting a little dark in here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Hi. Speaking of exfoliation, let's talk about that for a minute. After you've double cleansed, right? After you've done your oil and your water cleansing, what if you want to exfoliate? Well, then is the time to do it. There's two different types of exfoliation, and I talk about this on my website a little bit, so you can go to blushandbourbon.com and take a look at what I've written about exfoliation. There's physical and there's chemical exfoliation. Physical is going to be your scrubs, right? Your apricot scrub. Don't ever use that, for the love of God. Your pumice scrub. Micro Magic from Bliss is a good physical scrub. Dermalogica's microfoliant is a good physical scrub. Anything that you have to manipulate with your hands. This even talks about skincare treatments. We're talking about microdermabrasion, right? That's considered physical or mechanical exfoliation because it involves the use of your hands. Then there's chemical exfoliation. Chemical exfoliation is going to be your masks, your enzymes, your peels, any sort of toner that has any sort of alpha or beta hydroxy acid in it, a serum, a moisturizer, anything that acts on your skin in a on a chemical cellular level is going to be considered a chemical exfoliation. What's your favorite, Nandi? Thanks for asking. I tend to love a good chemical exfoliation because I'm not lazy, I'm busy. But I think that they're just more effective in the long run. Also, chemical exfoliation is you're able to tailor your chemical exfoliation a little bit better to what you want your needs to, or for what your needs are and what your goals are, right? Most folks want to exfoliate more because they're concerned about hyperpigmentation, right? Sunspots, age spots, post-inflammatory pigmentation that comes from acne. That is what you want to use your exfoliation for. You want to get rid of that. It's not necessarily always texture, but mostly, number one, at least when it comes to me and my clients and the people that I interact with and ask me and when I talk to you about this, it's always tone. It's always scarring. It's always making the skin look more evenly toned and a little bit fresher. Chemical exfoliation is what's going to really address that for you. Alpha and beta hydroxy acids, there's a panoply of them. They're all going to work on different levels of your skin. They have different molecular sizes. They're different molecular sizes that are going to act at different levels of your skin to do certain things, right? Citric acid and alpha hydroxy acid. What do we know about citric acid? It's for brightening, breaking down sun damage and excess scarring. Mandelic acid does the same thing. Mandelic acid helps work on helping the skin from producing excess melanin. Lactic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid that is good for retexturizing the skin, right? Lactic acid is a big old fat molecule. The bigger the molecule, the longer it takes to penetrate into the skin. So lactic acid will sit right up there on top of the skin, exfoliate, digest old skin cells, help the skin look a little bit more smoother, more brighter. Glycolic acid is a smaller molecule. It's made from sugar. It's derived from sugar or sugarcane extract. It's a really small, tight, tiny molecule. That means it penetrates the skin really quickly. It gets down into the lower levels of the skin. It happens to be a humectant. Remember, because sugar is a humectant. Don't know if you know that, but it is. Sugar is a humectant, so glycolic acid, by virtue of being from sugarcane, is also a humectant, so it helps to hydrate the skin. I think glycolic acid boosts the skin's hydration levels from about 10 to 20%. The research varies, but it does help to fortify the skin with a little bit of extra hydration. That's why it's so great for dry skin. Salicylic acid is also a bigger molecule designed to work more in the top layers of the skin where sebum tends to live, right? So it dissolves dead skin cells, but it's oil soluble, so it cuts through oil to help control oil production. It is anti-inflammatory because it's a derivative from aspirin. It's also antibacterial, so that's why salicylic acid is so good for oily and acne-prone skin, because it helps really address those issues. Tons and tons of alpha and beta hydroxy acids. They take a little bit of time to work, but I'm a big proponent of less being more. So doing a little bit over a long period of time, in my professional opinion, because my opinion is professional, doing a little bit over a long period of time tends to be more beneficial for your skin, and you get more long-lasting, concrete results. Now, some of us love a scrub. Sometimes I'm just like, I just want to scrub my face off, right? Can't get microdermabrasion right now because pandemic. But what's the next best thing? Using a really finely milled, gently made scrub is probably going to be if you're somebody who likes microdermabrasion the way that I do, then using a really finely refined scrub is probably going to be the next best thing. I've talked about Micro Magic from Bliss. It uses volcanic pumice versus any sort of seed or husk or ground up pits, like a certain brand that will remain nameless. The smaller and more refined that grain is, whatever the physical component or physical ingredient is on a scrub, the more gentle it's going to be. But I also feel like scrubs do not have to hurt, right? You don't have to really feel that scrub for it to be doing its job. Same thing goes for chemical exfoliation. You don't have to feel a tingle. You don't have to feel a burning. You don't have to feel a warm sensation to know that that chemical is working. It's working. It's on your face. It's working. Just because you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not working. That's probably a nice takeaway from exfoliation conversation. Just because you can't feel it doesn't mean it isn't working. Back to scrubs. Using a more refined, smaller formulated scrub is going to be a little bit more gentle on your skin, and you're going to get the result that you want versus using something that's really abrasive and scratchy, where you're like, ooh, I can feel it. Yeah, you can feel it, but there's a consequence for that, right? You could be irritating your skin, increasing inflammation. If you watched my last video, I talked about the why you shouldn't be picking your own face. We discussed very briefly how Our pain tolerance is different for picking our own faces versus picking others. For me personally, picking others' faces, I'm going to go much harder on myself than I'm ever going to go on one of you lovely people, right? The same kind of goes for scrubs. The pressure that I'm going to use using a physical exfoliant on you, my dear client, is going to be half the pressure that I would use when I'm in the shower going to town on my own face. So when you're working on your own face, you're going to be way, way, way more vigorous than you would, right? You don't always have to look pink when you're done scrubbing your face. You don't have to see that kind of result to get the result you want. So if you like a physical exfoliant, try to use something that's really gentle. Look for pumice powder because it's really, really fine, right? Clay isn't bad because clay is very small in molecule. Avoid things like walnut seeds, husks, anything that's like a ground nut powder. Insert joke here. Anything that's really like thick and abrasive or has corners, right? Anything that you can think of that has jagged edges. Avoid that because that could irritate your skin and then take your skin to a place that you don't necessarily want it to go. Dermalogica, we talked about them before when we talked about their pre-cleanse oil. Words mean things. Dermalogica also has something called a daily microfoliant, which is a powder base. I don't have any of it on me right now, but it's a powder based exfoliant that all you need to do is add a little bit of water to, mix it together, and it becomes a really frothy foam. Now, the great thing about the daily microfoliant from Dermalogica is that it is 2 types of exfoliation in one. It is a marriage of both chemical and physical exfoliation. The physical component is rice bran powder. Rice bran powder is fantastic as a physical exfoliant. It's very gentle. Rice bran or using rice powder as an exfoliant. Rice is brightening. Rice is it's hydrating. It's a molecule that isn't jagged, right? It's a particle rather, not a molecule, that isn't jagged. It has got rounded edges. It's going to exfoliate without overly irritating your skin. And it marries rice bran powder with papaya and pineapple enzymes. If you have a pineapple or papaya allergy, beware. But papaya, also known as papain, and pineapple enzymes, also known as bromine, are the enzymes. So and we didn't talk about enzymes. We talked about acids, but not enzymes. So enzymes tend to work on the surface of the skin on a chemical, on a cellular level. Enzymes help to refine the skin. They help to exfoliate. Enzymes are designed to sort of digest and dissolve dead, dry skin, clogged skin at the skin surface. So the Dermalogica microfoliant combines the fun scrubbiness of a mechanical scrub or exfoliation with the gentle refinements of enzymes. The instructions on daily microfoliant, as the name suggests, says that you can use it daily. I would not recommend using it daily. Do not exfoliate daily. I'm glad I wandered here. Exfoliation is important, but it does not necessarily need to happen every day. Even if you're using a chemical exfoliant, if you're using an exfoliating toner or cleanser or serum, you do not necessarily have to use it every day. One of the biggest missteps that all of us at one point or another have or will make is exfoliating too much. Overexfoliation can cause all types of different issues. If you have, it can cause breakouts, it can cause flaking, dryness, irritation, stinging. I accidentally overexfoliated using Paula's Choice liquid BHA exfoliant 2%, right? That's not the whole name. That might be the whole name, but I probably said it wrong. As someone who has used salicylic acid their entire life, I was using it, and this is also during a period of time where my skin was kind of changing a little bit. I started using the 2% BHA exfoliating solution or liquid exfoliant. I probably used it, if not every night, every other night. And I was doing my eyebrows at work one day, and I just kind of noticed that I had this weird sort of faint pinkness on my face. I kind of saw this weird line of demarcation around my orbital bone, right in my hairline, right here by my ear. And I was like, what is going on? I also noticed, because I had just waxed my eyebrows and I was going through to pluck and refine, to tailor them up. And I noticed that my eyebrows, this area, I get a little bit pink, but I was red. And I did my process of elimination, and I realized it was from the Paula's Choice liquid exfoliant. It was just way, way, way too strong for my face. So I always caution people who want to try it to definitely not start out using it every night as the instructions suggest. I always encourage my guests, my friends, anyone who's looking to start using chemical exfoliation in their regular routine to introduce it slowly, because as I said before, you're going to get a better result over a long period of time if you do a little bit at a time. So any sort of exfoliation, whatever method you choose, be it a scrub, be it a mask, be it a serum, be it a toner, even an exfoliating cleanser, right? Try to make that something that you only use a few times a week. Don't use it every night, because it's going to start to strip your skin. Overexfoliation can cause damage to your acid mantle. Your acid mantle is kind of like this fun layer of lipids and nutrients and vitamins in your skin. And once you start to damage that, once you start to muck around with your lipid balance and your lipid layer, that's when your skin can do weird hooey stuff like break out or flake or get irritated. So you always want to figure out what the specific balance is for you of hydration and exfoliation. For me, as a 40-year-old woman who is still quite oily, but doesn't necessarily need the high level of exfoliation I once did in my 30s, I tend to only use an exfoliating product every 2 to 3 nights. Hold on. I'm going away again. I'll be right back. I've returned. As a woman who is in her 40s, I only use an exfoliation product every 2 to 3 nights. What is the exfoliation product you use, Nandi? Glad you asked. This is from our friends at SkinCeuticals. It is called Glycolic 10 Renew Overnight. It is a nightly treatment, promotes cellular turnover, and a refined appearance. Now, this is a 10% glycolic acid nightly treatment. It is a little bit on the not the stingy side, but it's definitely active. You will feel that this product is working on your skin almost the second you put it on, and it depends on what you've done the night before. I do not use this every night, even though the directions say limiting initial use to once every other evening. Okay, wait, I lied. This does encourage you to use it every other evening and then work your way up. I don't even use this every other evening. I probably use it only 3 times a week. And I've been using it for about a month. And I'm still probably not going to use it every other night or every night as it suggests. This is really, really amazing, you guys. So as I discussed earlier, glycolic acid is hydrating. It tends to be the anti-aging molecule because of the fact that it is so good at improving the faster and more quickly it can end up giving your skin a negative reaction. So I always encourage the use of glycolic acid in particular to introduce that very slowly, because you can go negative really quickly because that molecule is so small. I have had my fair share of friends, family, and clients who have used certain glycolic toners from, say, Neutrogena or from The Ordinary or from other brands. And after using this toner, and it turns out they used it every night or every day, or they used it regularly for the course of about a week to 10 days. And I noticed immediately that their skin had a negative reaction. It's because your skin, not everybody's skin is really keen on glycolic acid. Just like everybody's skin isn't really keen on salicylic acid either. You just kind of have to do a trial and error. But if you introduce products like this, or the Dr. Nuts Gross Alpha Beta Peel Pads, which I have recommended to everyone in this room at some point or another, it's best to introduce that very, very slowly. Start using it 2 to 3 times a week and then see how your skin likes it. And then after a month, and I'm serious about that month, you guys, I mean it, 28 days. If your skin still likes it, then maybe up it to an extra time a week. You do not want to go too high too fast. You do not want to take your skin too high too fast because it will freak out. It is our skin's our biggest organ. It's an indicator of what else could be wrong in other parts of our body. So you want to be as gentle as you can with it. You want to take chances, but you don't want to take stupid chances. Right. If you've never scuba dived before, you're not just going to strap on an oxygen tank and a mask and go, hey, I've swum before. I can totally. No, you have to do this thing slowly. You have to practice. Your face is the same way. I don't know. Maybe that was a weird metaphor. I don't know. I'm still not tipsy, I promise. Annette is asking, what do you think about charcoal versus sugar versus salt? Very good question. So the 3 of those ingredients, charcoal, sugar, salt, all physical exfoliants, all kind of have can vary as far as grains go. When it comes to salt, I'll kind of work backwards. When it comes to salt tends to be most salt scrubs especially are very, very large, chunky grains, right? Most salt scrubs tend to be a little bit more suited for the body, right? From the neck down or waist down, arms, whatever. A lot of good foot scrubs are made of salt. Salt is probably the most abrasive of the 3. So it would be more suited for super dry body skin. I like to use salt scrub on my legs. My legs tend to be really dry. My elbows can get super dry too. So I tend to use salt in those places, but I would skip using it on more sensitive areas of my body versus something like sugar, where sugar can be a smaller grain, usually when it's manufactured and put into a scrub. Sugar, again, is a humectant. So using any sort of sugar scrub is also going to help to hydrate a little bit better. Sugar scrubs rely less on the oil in their formulations to do the softening and the moisturizing and do the sugar. Between the 2, salt tends to be a little bit more bathtub friendly because salt tends to dissolve a lot faster in your bathtub versus sugar. Sugar can linger a little bit. But sugar is a more hydrating ingredient to use. There are a couple face scrubs, Fresh comes to mind, that use sugar as a face scrub ingredient. I don't hate it. I wouldn't say use it more than once a week, though. Especially when it comes to, there's probably a difference between white sugar, different. Usually the charcoal that's used in skincare for face or body is activated charcoal, which is a specific type of charcoal that is, I think it's from ashes. Don't quote me on that. You know what? I'm pretty sure I have an entire article I've done extensive research on my website about activated charcoal. But activated charcoal is formulated to adhere for toxins and debris to adhere to the molecular surface of the charcoal. So it kind of attracts it so that it kind of rinses away as you remove the charcoal. Active charcoal is what they use to pump anyone's stomach who may have been poisoned in any way, shape or form. They pump their stomachs full of active charcoal to suck up the toxins so that it can be flushed away so that it doesn't do any negative harm. That's the same kind of concept when you're talking about using it in skincare. Activated charcoal is also a free radical fighter. so it tends to fight free radical damage. It can be a little bit drying for some skin types. It can be a little bit messy. It can be a little bit scary looking. I do not suggest a lot of those charcoal masks that are kind of peel off masks. They're way too stripping and damaging to the skin. And really, they're not really doing much of anything other than just kind of removing vellus hair, or removing facial hair. That's why they're so painful. They're not great. I do not mind a nice charcoal mask when used regularly. But the charcoal mask is going to be a little bit, anything with charcoal in it, even if it's a scrub, is going to be a little bit more on the purging and detoxification side than sugar versus salt. So, and also keep in mind, because activated charcoal is a little bit dark, it's black or gray, you can have a staining factor, either in your bathroom sink, in your bathtub, in your shower. Also, it can be a little bit hard to remove from your pores, especially if you're talking about like an activated charcoal, like clay mask. It can be really hard to remove just using, just using it at the sink side at night. It's something that you probably want to use a little bit more in the shower, just because I found in all the clay or activated charcoal masks I've used in my life, they remove so much easier in the shower than they do with me constantly splashing my face in the sink. So to recap, charcoal, detoxifying, free radical fighting, better for combination to oily skin. Sugar, a humectant, smaller grain, more refined than salt, tends to instill some hydration into the skin while it's working. Salt, most abrasive, best for the body, really good for dry skin, relies more on oil versus the actual salt to do the hydrating for you in whichever formula. Salt scrub does not belong on your face ever. It's too abrasive. Does anyone have any more questions? Wait, I can't turn all the way over. That didn't work out like I wanted it to. Can you guys think anything else you wanna ask? You're welcome. You're welcome, Annette. Anything else? No? Well, the sun is set. The lights have dimmed. I look super greasy, and I can barely see out of my my left eye because I'm gonna figure out how to put makeup on without getting eyeshadow on my contact. I think it's when I try to do anything to my bottom to be fancy with my lower lid that causes eyeshadow issues for me. If you all have any questions, again, please email me at Nandi, Nandi, at blushandbourbon.com. That's BLUSHN for Nandi, BOURBON for what is in my glass, or what was in my glass, because it's gone now, .com. Maybe I'll do this again next week. Maybe I'll make it a weekly thing. Maybe I'll make it a bi-weekly thing. Who's to say? You can Cash App or PayPal. I'll put my Cash App in the description. If on PayPal, you can email me and ask me for it. Think of things that you to know for later. Anything you want me to talk about next video? Do you want to talk about masks? Do you want to talk about do you guys want me to talk about how to properly shape your eyebrows since we're all stuck inside and we can't go to our brow ladies? Do you want to talk about how to properly tweeze your eyebrows? We can. Remind me. Janaria, Sheree, Tamika, text me later and remind me. That just came to me that maybe you guys might want to talk about your eyebrows a little bit. I just thought about that. Maybe we will talk a little bit about how to do your own facial hair maintenance while you're at home. which is hard to do because your estheticians can't touch you right now. It's against the law. Our love is illegal. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. I mean, as someone who shapes their own eyebrows on a regular basis, even I noticed a little bit earlier. Oh no, this is a bushy situation. But I have, of course, no wax because I'm not a smart esthetician who bought her own wax pots and waxes. Oh, because the spa show didn't happen this year because of this little thing called COVID-19. It's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. Sure, we can talk a little bit about foot care. My feet look, well, listen, my feet don't look terrible, but they don't look great. But going back to salt scrubs, great for your feet. So next time we'll talk about eyebrows. We'll talk about some facial hair maintenance, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about some other stuff you can do while we all wait to be able to go back outside again. Okay. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening. I'm going to go stuff my face with some chicken wings, possibly, and maybe a little bit more bourbon. I am so proud of the children in this house for not making a whole lot of noise, unless you can hear the basketball outside. But if you can, you'll be fine. I love you guys. Until next time. Don't let anyone with bad eyebrows tell you shit about your life. Bye.